night a balling. Joy coming out of morning. Joy coming out of morning. Joy coming out of morning. After one whole night a balling. I could not sleep last night. Situations had me up.
No way at all.
And when I tried to pray, even doing that was wrong. Me know me Bible from back to front. Holy Ghost feel like speaking tongues. Yet my back was up against the wall. And Jesus name we call. And him tell me say, shall coming out the morning. Shall coming out the morning. Shall coming out the morning. After one whole night of all.
And you will see say, joy coming at the morning. Joy coming at the morning. Joy coming at the morning. After one whole night of balling. Watch this. The struggle's real, not it tough till it a crack. Water more than flour and no food, no in a pot. Watch them say better days are come. It look like it figure. They on me knees a pray so long me left to hole in a the mat. Hungry say pick up the night. Mama said church 10 o'clock. She said knock and it will open, but we nah no door for knock. She said time of the master. All when you know got no watch, just make we fast and pray until at 12 o'clock. And you will see say joy coming at the morning. Joy coming at the morning. Joy coming at the morning. After one whole night of balling. Joy coming at the morning. Joy coming at the morning. Joy coming at the morning. After one whole night of balling.
Mama, don't cry. Please dry your eyes. Daddy, don't cry. God knows you try. Sisters, don't weep. God knows your need. Brothers, hold on to the Most High. Mama, don't cry. Dry up your eyes. Daddy, hold on. God knows you try. You try, you try, you try, you try. Oh, 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 oh. Remember, no mistake. Shy coming out of morning. Shy coming out of morning. Shy coming out of morning. After one whole night.
All right, everybody. Let me welcome you this evening to our live broadcast. Of course, my name is Dr. Kevin Waite, and my beautiful wife, Mrs. Nicole Reed Waite. Hi, Nicole. All right, so we want to thank you for coming on and joining with us wherever you're joining from. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, or if you're on YouTube, we sincerely want to thank you for participating with us this evening. We, in terms of Nicole and myself, we have decided to come live this evening because we want to share with you some insights. We want to share with you the inspiration and the story behind our newly released book, Beautifully Scarred. We're going to be giving you some information that you have never heard before. Nicole kept those very secret and kept them in her heart. I'm very thrilled and honored because, I am now able to bring the actual story to you by talking to you. And it's the first time in this capacity that Nicole will be getting an opportunity to share her story. So I know a lot of people, because we have sold so many books. A lot of books have been sold on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble. and persons who would have bought from us directly. We have sold a lot of books, and many people have been sharing their testimony with us.
Floodgates are open. Floodgates are open.
All right, seems that we had a break in transmission. All right, we might have had some technical difficulties right there. We'll be coming back to you shortly. Our technicians are getting that sorted out, and we will be coming back. You look so pretty this evening. Looking so dappering. And so charming this evening. Sorry about that, everybody. We had a break in transmission. Our technician was sorting that out for us. I was just here looking at this beautiful girl right here. Trust me, she's been through a lot, and we're going to be talking about that this evening. You're actually looking at a miracle. You know, Nicole, sometimes when I hear people say, oh, Lord, I want a miracle. And I would tell them, I see a miracle every day. You know, yeah. Tell us a little bit about you, Nicole. You can start anywhere. Start when you use the courage in the toilet. Anywhere. Oh, okay, okay. Just kidding. All right. All right. Just tell us who you are, Nicole, and you know, a little bit about you as we get into the book, Beautiful is God. You're the only rose.
Only rose in Florence.
Oh my! I'm so lucky to have picked that rose. Woo! I'm on somebody. Yeah, and I know, yeah, she's not a public speaker like myself. She's a shy one. She's always behind the scene, and she works so well behind the scene. I tell you this. I tell you this. I had a hard time getting her to sit beside me today to do this live. I was also trying to get my daughter, who has a part of the story, to come on and share, and she was like, "Daddy, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me." So I'm like the spokesperson of the family, but you know, she will continue telling us who she is, and she's a mother, of course.
Mother. 3 kids.
Let's talk about that a little bit before we go any further. Some years ago, you have to back me up now because you know sometimes. Thank you very much. Because you know anniversaries and all those things. Sometimes you know, yeah, yeah. So 13 years ago, we lost our first child. Yeah, a full-term baby. Yeah, no complication during pregnancy. And
Just
in the last stage, you were
I end up
admitted.
with
Wait, who? Okay. Oh, okay.
I know those big
I know.
bags, right?
I'm not saying you used to work in a
High blood
pharmacy.
pressure.
Yeah, you worked in a pharmacy and you owned a pharmacy, as a matter of fact. So I know you would know those terms. Uh, all right. So eventually, you developed some complications, and you were admitted to a private hospital. Ah, tell us some
That
more.
went progression. It's in our God did it. I were out there who suffered from loss of wonder. Good.
I love that. He took good and then he sends better and best. I never like talking about the death of our first baby. And for years you shied away from talking to me about it because you know how I felt about
There
it.
was that.
Yeah, every time I hear about it, I would get emotional.
I
And she
really
never
was.
liked to see me
I
cry.
really. God was
And to be
more than a
honest,
conqueror.
all listeners, when we were going through that experience after we lost our baby, as I said earlier, that's not something I would talk about. I didn't talk about it with anyone. Many persons tried to reach out to me to have a conversation with me about it, but I would shy away from it because I was so devastated. I'm telling you, the first time I was going to be a father, I was very excited in becoming a dad. I watched Nicole, and I've never missed an appointment.
I've never missed that.
I'm always at the appointment with her.
Doctors don't understand why we baby. I put that God gave me that chance. That's my so I just
All right. We want everybody to hear exactly what you're saying. See if you fix the earbud a little bit so
oh
they
no
can
one not
hear.
hearing it.
Yeah, they can barely hear what you're saying, but they're hearing me well. So they
I guess
will.
because oh
All right. So project your voice.
My
Well, and she's not the loud talker, everybody. I'm the loud. I was the preacher, and the loud. My mouth is big. But she's usually the very reserved type, the one who sits in the back. If you're not careful, she comes to church and wants to sit in the back, and all of that. Yes, I remember one Sunday I had to reprimand her in church while I was preaching. But that's for another. Well, that's another story, baby. Let's go back to the actual death of our first child. And by the way, what we're talking about, listeners, right now is in this book. All of that is in this book and more. Now, I remember we're at the hospital. It was about 4 a.m.
three.
3 a.m. Right, it was about 3 a.m. And the doctor was calling, and he was not able to get anyone. We had a wonderful nurse in the day, but she was exhausted because you were not dilating. Yeah, and so she had to go home to get some rest and then come back. But there was another nurse that was assigned to you, and so the doctor was calling because I was there. I was there. The doctor was calling, couldn't get anybody. But look at how God works, listeners. While the doctor was calling and could not get in touch with the nurse, the doctor said he just had this urge that he needed to put his clothes on and come to the hospital.
Because he's saying there's no way the baby should have been there by that time.
By that time, he said, I'm quoting what he told us. He said he was sleeping, but he was in no peace. He was absolutely in no peace, and God would have woke him up at 3 a.m. And, as it were, his spirit. And so he got his clothes on. And what was remarkable was while he was on his way, so calling the pediatrician, he was calling another doctor, gynecologist, and he was calling Dr. Aguirre, they something make us sleep. Yes, man, that's him one there. Right. Yes, that's him one there. The doctor was calling.
The doctor that put me.
That one. That one. So he was calling everybody on his way to the hospital. When he got there, it's like all the doctors were right behind him. Remember, no, he never got a chance to talk to anybody before that. But yet, when he stepped in the room and he saw you, the first thing he said, I remembered clearly, he said, Nicole, surgery. I'm going to have to take this baby right now. I have no time. And I called your mother. God bless her. She's always such a great support and strength. I called your mom and she left and she came, right? I called other persons, of course, like my pastor, Reverend Horton, and I called others and they were on the ball praying. You know, I bless God for these people who he has blessed in my life, blessed me with. And when they took you to the theater, by the time you were in the theater, your mother arrived. And so now I had a shoulder I could lean on. But in my spirit, I was troubled. I just knew that something was wrong. I was troubled in my spirit. I could not be myself at that time. And I was walking up and down the corridor, walking back and forth while they were in the theater with you. What was very remarkable and frightening at one point, I heard when one of the doctors, they were calling you so loudly, Nicole, don't do this to us now. You can't do this. Don't leave. When she said, don't leave, God, I told my mother-in-law, me just dead. I am going to die. And she held my hand and she was just praying and she was just praying and she was just praying. The next thing I know is that one of the doctors rushed to us and told us and said, Mr. Wade, it's not looking good at all. We're going to have to try to save your wife. When they said that, no, it was between the baby and my wife. They said and you know, as I go along, I understand that this was a matter of choosing the greater good, right? Not a matter of ethics. And they chose to save you. They said they saved you by 5 minutes. You remember that? Yeah, 5 minutes. If it was 5 minutes more, you would have died. You would have died in child's birth. Now, I saw when they rushed the baby to the public hospital. Now, while they were rushing the baby, I get a glimpse of him, and the baby was blue. Was a blue baby. Blue baby. I mean, can you imagine how I would have felt at that point? Thinking, what's happening to my wife? Because I'm not seeing you yet. What's happening to my wife? And what's going on with the baby? Now I have to be between the private hospital and the public hospital. When I went there and I saw the baby, I was holding on to hope that he would have made it. Project your voice a little so they can hear you.
When I woke up and I was asking for the baby, they said he had breathing issues.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm saying, okay, he just need a little oxygen, so he'll be fine. But then as time progresses and they keep saying, oh, because it's not looking good, I'm like, oh no, don't tell me that.
All right. I want everybody to hear what you're saying because it is very, it's intriguing, and I want them to hear what we have been through as a family. You see, I was asking my daughter to come on, and all of a sudden now everybody's in the sitting room as if they want to come on. I see my son, I see my daughter. You can't see them, but I can see them through the corner of my eyes. And now they're running away. All right. Right. So I want you to project your voice a little bit so they can actually hear you, because I want everybody to hear from you directly what we're talking about this evening. I think I probably have the better earpod. So I don't know if you want us to exchange. I don't know if that will work since we have a big mouth. All right, we're gonna change. Let's exchange. All right. You're gonna let me know now if you're hearing us better. All right, say something.
Okay. Yes.
All right. I think our technical team is going to send me a message to indicate to me if. Thank you very much, sir. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, was it your part?
Thank you very much. All right. All right. So back to the story. So when I went to the hospital and I saw, and I told you that they're saying that the baby just needed some oxygen. Of course.
Well, I thought that in my mind, because when they said that the baby was blue, I was saying, okay, it's fine. The baby just needs some oxygen, but I didn't know how blue the baby was.
Right.
Because if the baby is blue looking purple, then that means the baby might die. But I thought that it was just a little blue. So I said, okay, a little oxygen will help the baby. But I'm saying, why didn't they keep him at the private hospital? Why they had to take him to the public? But I mean, I don't know. Maybe because of the ventilator thing, or I don't know. But then eventually, for the whole day, I was asking for the baby. I was like, I need to see my baby, and they're saying he's at the public, and you cannot go there because you just got caught.
Right.
You can't walk, you can't get up. So I was saying, okay, maybe by tomorrow, maybe by the next day, they will be able to take my baby to me. But the next day, oh Lord, my whole world was shattered. Let
me share with everybody what I saw when I was at the hospital.
But remember, I didn't see anything.
I know.
So based on what the doctor said to me, I just thought in my head, okay, the baby was gonna be fine.
No, I know. When I was at the hospital, when I went to see the baby, as a matter of fact, at one point your mother came with me. My mother-in-law. Yeah, she came with me. As I told you, guys, she has always been a power. God bless her soul. Reverend Cynthia Reed. God bless her soul. That's my mother-in-law. And we went to the hospital, and when we saw the baby, I was holding on to hope. I was holding on to some semblance of hope. I was praying, Mom was praying, and we were just trusting God and hoping that things would have turned around. But at the same time, though we saw what was happening, and in other people's eyes, it should be looking hopeless, but we were holding on to hope. I could not, or Mom could not have passed that information on to you, because here we are between a rock and a hard place.
Because I have to be there fighting pain, and all of that.
And we don't know if you're gonna die,
right?
We don't know if you're gonna die, right? So we can't know, be telling you all these things. But now that we're talking about it, it was looking grim. It was looking really bad at that point. But we held on. Now, what was remarkable and striking about everything that went on in that hospital was all along the baby was closed. And opened his eyes. And I wanted to know if he was seeing me. I did.
Normally they say babies don't see when they are just born.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I wanted to see if he was seeing me.
True.
Yeah, it is true. Your mom was there.
No,
Oh, you mean that babies can't see?
Can't
well,
see.
I don't know. I don't know the theory about that.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I moved and he moved his eyes with me. And then I went to the other side and he did. I said, "Oh, you
He's
see,
saying,
at that moment,
but he recognized you.
he did because he recognized my voice because I was
Right.
talking to him. And you know, I used to talk to them in the belly and play with them while they were in the belly. At that moment, I got some hope. I got some hope. And that was when I left to come to see you. I wanted to see you now. So I left the public hospital, came to the private hospital. And lo and behold, we got a call while I was there. I need to come.
Yeah.
And when I went, they said he was trying to hold on.
Oh, before that, remember they said they were going to transfer him to Kingston.
Yes. And while the helicopter was on its way, they had to turn it back.
They had to turn it back because he just gave up.
He just gave up. Now, my whole world at that time, listeners, had come. I was teaching. I was a primary school teacher at the time. I could not go to school. I could not. You know, I remembered when we left that hospital after a few days, and when you walked in and you step up on that veranda, and you look behind you, back at the gate, and you burst out in.
Yeah, because I mean, every baby I saw, remember every baby I saw while coming out, I was like, my baby, where's my baby? Remember, I even asked them if they could just take the baby for me to see him before they put him on the ice. And they said no, they couldn't do that. I'm like, oh no, I'm shattered. But
we eventually buried the baby for Nicole's sake because she didn't get a chance to see the baby any at all. And we decided that we were going to actually do a funeral service for the child. And we did a funeral service. We did a huge, trust me, nobody ever saw that baby, but that funeral was so.
But they didn't know the baby anyway.
You know,
nobody knew
when
the
I
baby.
stepped in the when I got to the church, and if you know Westmoreland very well, we had a funeral at the Torrington Wesleyan Holiness Church. That's like the largest Wesleyan church. And when I drove in and I saw the parking lot, I was like, oh my God. And at that moment, even in the midst of death and grief and that pain, I realized how much we are loved. I realized how much we are loved. You know, and even to this day, we have people who really express their love for us, and we're so grateful because we can't do this without you. We couldn't have done it without you. And you know, we want to publicly say a big thank you to everybody for your great support, your love, you know, for being there for us. When we had the funeral service for the baby, Nicole literally wanted to take the baby out of the casket. She wanted to walk around with the baby. To
hold the baby, just even for a few seconds. But they wouldn't allow me to.
She was trying to get closure. You know, even just to put the baby on her shoulder and walk around with her. And let me tell you something that pains with him. Yeah, walk around with him. And that pains my heart, you know. What pains my heart the most was every time I look at you, all I could see.
And I was even, oh Lord, I was even scared. I don't know why. I was scared of the dark. I have no idea why I was so scared. I had to literally sleep with lights on in the house. And I had to, I don't know. I don't even know what I did to really comfort myself, but the light, I had to use the light. If they turn off the light, I would just start screaming and crying because it was dark. I don't know if I was afraid or what, but I don't know. I just had to use the light to really comfort myself. And then I had a good friend from school. She literally moved from her house, came to my house to live with me just to give me some comfort. Even during the days, she would be right there with me, lying down. Thank you so much, my nice, goodly friend. Nadine, thank you, baby, so much for helping me through that devastating time of my life. You have been a tower of strength to me. And even now, you continue to be the tower of strength. Thank you, darling. Yeah, but I had to use light and all of that. And mommy would be right there with me every step of the way. Even sometimes when I was if I go on the street and I see a baby and I would ask the persons how old is the baby, and they would say, oh, the baby is 3 months, and I would be like, oh no, my baby would be this age, my baby would be doing this. It was so hard going through it, but I'm glad that I really had persons who were there with me every step of the way. Not that they talked to me about it, but it's just that they were right there being like company. They were just right there being going every step of the way with me. But with God, all things are possible. And He had allowed me to go through that experience so I could help others who go through it. Because right after I lost my baby, maybe about 3-4 months, there was this young lady who lost her baby too, but it wasn't her first child. But she was so devastated. And when I went to the hospital and I was talking to her about it and I was sharing my experience with her, she was like, but if you are going through this and you look like that, you seem strong, then why can't I just go through it and be strong too? And I'm glad I was able to actually help her to go through that. So and then I even had another person who lost her first baby too. And when I saw that she lost the baby, I called her. No, I texted her and I was saying to her, I realized you lost your baby. And she said to me, yes, I did. And I said to her, oh, I lost my baby too. And this is what I did. And I said, I have 2 more. And if God did it for me, He can do it for you too. And she said, oh no, I don't think I'll have another one. But no, she has another one. So I'm like, you see, God can use we can use our bad experiences to help others go through it when they are going through it. So
It's a powerful story, very powerful, Nicole. And I'm sure our listeners can hear the song playing in the background. It is well. It is well. That was one of the reasons why I chose to cover this song. It is well. The history of this song, the background of this song, almost characterizes what our background is as well. And so we decided to do this song. It is well. It is well. I'm going to ask our technical director to just play that song for our listeners. We'll be right back.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like seas billows roll, whatever my Lord thou hast done me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well. soul. Though Satan should buffet now, though trials should come, let this blessed assurance control that Christ hath regarded my helpless estate and hath shed his own blood for my soul. They say it is well, my God, with my soul. My soul. It is well. It is well with my soul. My sin, oh, the bliss, the good of this glory. Yes, thought. My sin, not in part, but the whole is nailed to the cross, and I bear them no more. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, oh my soul. Good God, I tell you, it is well. Yes, Lord, yes, with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. It is well, ooh, with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. Hallelujah. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining our live this evening. If you're joining us from Facebook, we welcome you. If you're on Instagram, we welcome you. And if you're joining us via YouTube, we welcome you. We want to say a big shout out to all our ministers who are listening to us tonight. Want to say a big shout out to all the bishops and pastors. I just call a few. I know many are on. We have Reverend Horton, Reverend George Horton. That's my spiritual father. Down there in Jamaica, we have Bishop Alfonso Smith. We have Bishop McPherson. We have Pastor Kelly. We have a number of ministers who are on tonight. A whole lot of our friends are on tonight, and we want to thank you so much for joining us. Nicole and I, we are talking about our experience, the inspiration, the inside story of how we came about writing this book, Beautifully Scarred. And if you have a copy of the book, you would notice that a part of the topic says our journey through pain. Our journey through pain, a mission with vision and purpose. Beautifully Scarred. If you have not yet gotten your copy, please support us. You can hop on to Amazon.com and you can find it there. Beautifully Scarred. Dr. Kevin Wade. This is Nicole Reed Wade. Yes, and my wife is reminding me also that you can check Barnes and Nobles. All right, and if you have our contact information, we also have copies. We have hard copies and we have soft copies. All right, that's a soft copy. This is a hard copy. Now the difference is this one has
call it pictures.
Right.
That one has black and white pictures. All right.
And the cover is hard, so.
Right. It's beautiful. Beautiful the sky. Now, I'm gonna ask my technical director to turn my music down in my ears a little bit. I'm hearing it over me. All right. Now, so we buried our baby, and may his soul rest in peace. His name, we called him
Imoy.
McCoy. Why are you putting the name?
I have no idea.
So who named him? Who gave him name?
Both of us did. Both of us did, right?
Remember when we almost give Amor your name Amanda?
Right.
A friend of ours said, "Where you going with that old man name?"
She was like, Miss Amanda. I'm like, oh no, you messed the child's name up. But okay.
All right. Now fast forward to that.
I have something to say.
Sure, go ahead.
What really got me through the death of the baby was, the baby was born in leap year. So I guess that year lots of babies died. But I remember one night I was watching this program on TVJ. I think it's with Curling. What's her name? Curling. What's her name?
I'm not a TV fan.
Oh, she has a program where she would go around and talk about different people with ailments and stuff like that. And I remember this lady came on with her baby. I think the baby was maybe about a year and something. And when the baby was born, it was the same oxygen issue.
Mm-hmm.
But that baby, they said the baby would not walk, the baby wouldn't talk, but eventually that baby was walking. Well, with my baby, when they did the autopsy, they said the lack of oxygen to his brain damaged it, so he wouldn't be able to do nothing for himself, so he was a vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw that, I was like, God, I thank you. I was sitting in a hall watching the TV, and I said, God, I thank you that you took the baby. Because, for me to be raising a vegetable, he would have to be wearing diapers.
Even until this day, 13 years after.
Right, 13 years after. Okay. He would have to be wearing diapers. I would have to be feeding him. I would have to lift him at all times.
Searching for was Curling Brown.
Right, yeah. That's the name. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, God, I thank you for taking the baby, because, I don't think I would be able to manage something like that. And then I would eventually maybe start cursing and saying, God, why you never take him? Why you? No, I don't mean cursing in words. No, I would be saying, God, I'm complaining then. I would be more complaining and saying, God, why didn't you take the baby? Why did you put me through this?
So you would have had a lot of why questions.
Right.
After seeing that, because we were told that the baby wouldn't speak. Wouldn't speak.
He wouldn't hear. He wouldn't walk. Not at all. He wouldn't walk.
He wouldn't be able to do anything. And
so he would be a vegetable.
Yeah, we had to come to the conclusion that Jesus really loves us.
Oh, yes.
Which is
he
why
sure
he
did.
took
That's why he took that child from us.
And I remember, listeners, after the baby died, another minister saw me, and he was trying to encourage me. When in certain moments, it doesn't matter what people say to you. Sometimes you just go to one ear and come to the other one. We're human, so that do happen. And he said something to me that struck a chord. And he said to me, passed away. I was called that at that time because I was pastoring a church in Banbury. We're pastoring Banbury, right? Yeah, we're in Banbury. Yeah.
Banbury and Hartford.
Banbury and Hartford.
Right.
We're pastoring Banbury and Hartford at the time. And he said to me, Pastor Waite, whenever God takes anything good from his children, it's because he has better
and best. Right, it's true.
And I live to see that manifestation in Amoye and Nicole.
Right.
And if I should assess them, it is just the way he said it. Better. And I will not go any further because I know the two kids are listening. And yeah,
right.
Yeah, we will not go any further.
And they're pretty smart.
And they're pretty smart.
So smart.
Yeah, they're pretty smart. And so I will not go any further.
No,
with that part.
Let's not.
You know, but then we realized, listeners, that it was out of love for us. That's God loving us that He chose to take Moy away from us. And we miss him. And we thank God for the one day that He gave him to us. He only was with us for one day. He was born.
I mean, out of the womb for one day.
Yeah, out of the womb.
Yeah.
When was he born again?
You don't remember?
Oh, Jesus.
April 30.
Thank you. So, which means he died May 1.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, we bless God, and to God be the glory. Another thing that is striking about this, after my wife, or we lost our son, she was told that she may never get pregnant. She said, you know what? Let's tell them a little bit of that story before we get, because that's also in the book. We're talking about the book Beautiful Sky.
Oh yeah. I have. The doctor said if I am going to have another one, I would have to take fertility tablet because my chance of getting pregnant is at 0.0000001%.
That was her chance of getting pregnant. But we're bad, man. 0.00001.
Well, God bless that doctor who helped me to get 2 of my kids, right?
and though they told us that we had faith, and I remember I kept telling you that it's not what man says. It's what God says. And if God says we're going to have more children, we are going to have more children. I don't care what the doctor says. And Bob, we were having a jolly good time.
No, that was with the last one. No, you're going too fast.
No, we got in there. So we were having a jolly good time until decided that we were going to plan for a Moy.
Right, which was 9 months after that baby died.
Yes.
Right.
So we planned for a Moy and we tried, and God answered our prayers. And when my wife got pregnant and went to the doctor, they were scared as well.
Oh yeah.
Because of the technicalities and the high risk that Nicole was. And they sent us away. Right? They gave us all the referrals.
First he told me that if I stay in Jamaica, he would have to take the baby at 7 months. And that is not a surety that that baby would live either.
Right.
That's
what he said. He was not going to be a surety.
Right, because he said based on what went on with the first baby, he was scared for me to pass 7 months. And then he would have to put the baby in incubator. And then he was saying he wouldn't be sure if the baby's lungs would be developed and all of that. And I'm like, oh my God.
You've been there. You've been through it.
I'm like, another bad experience? Really? I'm like, okay. So he gave me the option of coming to America to have the baby. I was like, okay. I was hesitant though with that.
Yeah, listeners, before you go any further, my wife is something else. You see, I was working.
I'm not a risk taker, so you have to understand
I'm the risk taker. I'm really the risk taker. I was working, not making money. You know, we had a lot of obligations. Government took out a little bit of because call them something. But I remember. I was taking home. I can tell them right that we're taking because we're gonna go through. You know, we're sharing the inside inspiration with everyone.
Right.
How much was it? It was $24,000, right?
Right.
Yeah. I was taking home $24,000, and that was to cover rent and cover light and food and everything. It is rough, and transportation, you know. And them days of taxi, I never used to drive, so I have to take taxi, and I have like 3 different taxi for school. and all those stuff, and 2 to reach the church. And I remembered I decided because they're foreign. Time when doctor said foreign, we don't have visa.
No visa.
We don't have visa. The only thing we have a passport. We had no visa.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I jokingly mentioned it to Nicole before I did it. I said to her, Nikki, we call her Nikki. I said, Nikki, I think we're going to apply for the visa, And she said, which visa? Where you going to get money for apply for visa?
Because we never had it.
No, we never have it, but we still apply for a visa.
Sorry.
We never have it. And, she said, I hope I did little money to pay the house bill you plan to use, go for visa. And I say, nah, man. I'm going to use a little money, but we are going to go for visa. Then if we use little money, what we going forgot about it. What happened, I usually I went collected. Tell her. Down to bank. Look at 24,000, And I bought the visa form. The visa form.
Oh my
God. Now I have no more money left, So I went home and I started to laugh. All I was doing was laughing. Man, I started to laugh because I don't have no money to buy food. I don't have no money to pay in the transportation. So I started to laugh. And she just couldn't understand why I was laughing. So she kept asking me, you're going crazy or something?
I understand clearly.
And until
I knew what you did.
She's a prophet,
No, I'm not. I just...
I mean, I know she can know some things I wouldn't tell her. And when I was there laughing, she looked at me and she said, I hope on that money you use, go buy no visa, Go buy no visa form, And I laugh for the better. You know what she said to me? Me not coming to no embassy. Me not coming to no embassy. Sorry about
my God, with my soul. My soul. It is well. It is well with my soul. My sin, oh, the bliss, the good of this glory. Yes, thought. My sin, not in part, but the whole is nailed to the cross, and I bear the flood. Right hand in, you put your right hand up. Right hand in, and you shake it all about. Wave your hands to Jesus, turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Let's go! Climbing, moving me, moving up the narrow way. Yes, sir. Climbing, moving me, moving up the narrow way. Me might lose some weight, now lose it. Climbing up the narrow way.
But you know when we use the technology, how it goes sometimes. Yes. All right. So we were able. Thanks so much our technical team for jumping in so quickly and to have this matter rectified. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome back. We do apologize for that break a while ago. You just heard, yeah, you just heard that song "Climbing the Climbing," one of my songs. Right. So let's continue the discussion on the whole visa matter. Yeah. So she decided that she wasn't going to come with me to any embassy because we use a visa, the home money to buy a visa.
Not we, you did.
Well, anything that may
No. Yeah, but you did. It wasn't my decision. It was your decision.
Well,
you use.
Let me accept.
You make your own decision, and this what you want.
Tell me about how you feel about that decision.
Well. No. Okay.
Tell me how you feel about that decision.
Well, it was the best decision.
Oh, Jesus.
No, it was the best decision.
No, it is the best decision.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
You made that decision was, well, I wasn't even thinking about no future or what would happen in the long run. I was just thinking about the then. What are we going to eat? How are we going to pay the bills? That's what I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about nothing, no future.
All right, but to God be the glory. We
right.
went and we got the visa, and America has been. But there were days in America. I wanted to say that to lead into the next talking about. There were days while in America that we were covered in sinking. And we want to talk about that. Tell us about 2014, Nicole, when you decided that we were going to take a break to take the kids to.
It started in 2013.
2013, rather. Yes, go ahead.
Right, because remember, I normally do my yearly checks with my gynecologist and whatever it is. So he sent me to do some blood work, and I did everything that he said. And then they did a stool sample, and they found blood in my stool. So they said that it seems like it's some stomach issue. So he sent me to a surgeon, and the surgeon sent me to do an MRI. What's the MRI? CT.
CT scan.
Something to that effect. And then after that, after I did all of that, they sent me to a doctor in Kingston, which was he was a what? Gastroenterologist? Yes, I think he was a
gastroenterologist. You're talking about?
No, Dr. Rob.
Well, okay.
Roberts, I think. Yeah. He was a gastroenterologist because they said they found was it a mass or something on my liver. So then in 2014, he was saying I was not to think about it or whatever. It is just a little thing. So, but if I want to, I can take it further. But then in March, I remember in March of 2014, I came up to America for 2 weeks. Took the kids out of school and came to America 2 weeks. When I came, I went to a gastroenterologist here, and they did some more tests. because I took all the results from Jamaica and I came up, and they did even some of the tests. They did them over, and they did added ones that they don't do in Jamaica. And then they were saying I need to do a biopsy on my liver because they're seeing this mass on it. And I'm saying, oh my God, don't tell me that. Because my grandmother from my father's side, she died from, I'm not sure if it's liver cancer or something pertaining to her liver. But then they're asking me if I smoke or if I drink or all of that. And I'm saying, no, I don't do those stuff. But they're saying they don't understand. So, excuse me.
At that
Anyway.
time, you were the goodly pastor's wife. You don't do those stuff.
No, even before becoming a pastor's wife, I don't drink. I don't go to parties. As a matter of fact, I've never been to a party or a dance or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because my mother wouldn't allow me to.
Oh, yeah. Today, she wouldn't allow you too much more.
No, but being grown so...
And she's still not allowed.
Well, because of how she grew us, two of us really took to watch the way she grew us, but who just disobedient. But
remember they're watching, so don't let them get your head off.
They know that I will talk about them. That they're very disobedient, but I had never drink or smoke. So they were trying to figure out what could have caused this. But then I'm saying, because my grandmother had it, they probably think, they were saying that
they were scared that you
might be developing something from her. But after I went back to Jamaica, I remember one day, because I like to do my backyard farming. Yes, I went back to Jamaica.
Okay. That was 2013.
2014.
2014.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm a person who likes to do my backyard garden.
Even now.
So, well, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I remember this gentleman who was living across from where we were living. He saw me one day because some wind came. You know, in Jamaica, hurricane season. So right. The rain came and blew down some banana trees that was at the side of the house. So I went around there, was trying to replant them back. And he saw me and he was saying, "Sister, wait, and I saw you plant banana. So somebody plant banana. I said, well, you not come plant." And he said to me, "All right, I'm coming one day." But he met in an accident a couple months before that. So he was kind of...
Yeah, he had some hip issues.
Yeah, he had hip issues. So he came over with his stick and he sat there and he helped me to dig and plant them back. And then he was saying to me, you know, you could plant some yam head, some dasheen, and I'm saying, where me you go get all of that? He said, I have some over my house. So I will take them for you and I will... And he made the yam head, the yam hill, and I had some pineapple.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember those pineapples. You know?
Yes.
Sweet enough.
Yes.
Oh,
so
Lord.
I had the pineapple head. So we planted the pineapple heads too. And I remember one day I said to him, while planting the pineapple heads, I said to him, you know, I'm going to plant these stuff and I don't think I'm going to read them. And he said to me, why are you saying that? And I said, you know, I'm going to take the kids up for summer. So I'm going to come up about June and I don't think I'm coming back to read them. And he said to me, why would you say something like that? You have to come back. And I said, you know, if I don't come back to reap it, you reap it and eat it because you were the one who helped me to plant them. And he said, all right, if you say so. And I remember I came up June 30th of 2014. And when I came up, but before that, I was having high blood pressure. They said my sugar was a bit high, so I was developing diabetes. and they said my cholesterol was high. The doctor said I was retaining water. So
that was a funny part of that, because they couldn't understand why you were actually,
why I was actually developing all
puzzling.
these things.
Because
right.
remember, they were trying you on different medications,
Right.
because they
So
were not sure
Yes.
what was happening. Right.
So they gave me some medication, gave me water tablet, something for high blood pressure, and something for the diabetes. But he was saying, "Did you eat this morning?" I was saying, "No, I came here fasting." He was saying, "No, something is really wrong."
Yeah.
But anyway, I came up from Jamaica on the 30th of June. I took the kids up because I'm going to take them up for vacation for the summer, and then I'm going to go back to Jamaica.
How long were you coming to stay at that time in June?
Well, I came the 30th of June, and I was to leave, I think it was the 2nd of September, to go back down for the kids.
So roughly around 3 months.
Not, yeah, it would be 2 months. Yeah,
right,
2 months something. Yeah,
right.
2 months. Mm-hmm. And I remember when we were leaving, my son said, "I don't want to." Well, before that, Kevin said to me, "Don't go until July when I'm out of school, and me, you, and the kids can go." And I said to him, "No, I am not doing that. I am coming because I just sense that I need to go."
Yeah,
And
you
he's
said
saying,
that to me clearly.
and he's saying, "Why?" I said, "I don't know why, but I just sense that I need
and at
to
that
go."
point, it was the Spirit of the Lord that was dealing with you, but we didn't realize.
But I didn't even think. I just said, "You know what? I just need to go."
Yes.
When I came up, I was staying with my cousin, and oh my! When I came up, my pressure was high, my sugar was high, and they said I'm retaining water, but my legs were swollen. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was because of all that long traveling with the 2 kids by myself. That's the reason. But then my cousin was saying, "No, something is wrong." So she went and got me some diuretic. All I took the diuretic, I would not pass any water. I'm taking the water tablet, and I'm still not passing any water. I'm just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm saying, "No, something is wrong."
And by the way, listeners, for those of you who knew Mrs. Wade before she took ill, she was one piece of stick. Maga.
Well, yeah, maga. I was not maga. I was slim.
She was maga.
No, I was slim.
Yeah, she was maga.
That's not good. Okay, you just said maga.
Yeah, she was slim, but she didn't look good, though. She still looked good. All right.
Yeah. So I remember a particular Sunday. I can't remember the date. I know the 4th of July, me and my cousins went down to, but my cousin and her kids, my kids, and one of her friends and her son, we went down downtown
to fireworks,
right. And I remember after that, a couple of days after that, we went to a cookout.
That was a Friday?
I don't remember clearly what day it was.
Okay.
But I remember we went for 4th of July to watch fireworks. We went to a cookout, a barbecue. Mm-hmm. And then I remember this Sunday, I text you and I was saying to you, "Have a wonderful day in church today."
In the morning, yes.
Mm-hmm. And please give my regards to the church.
Right. That was not Patrick Church at the time.
Right.
Okay.
And I remembered, what did I remember after that? I remember they had friends over. We went to church too. And then when we came back, I think they had friends over and they were cooking. I remember nothing more after that.
All right, I'll tell you.
But then One thing I remember too was I heard sirens, and I heard, well, I don't know what was talking in my head, but I heard something said that I almost burned my cousin's house down and the police come for me. So I'm saying, how can I burn our house down when
So before you go,
I wasn't even around the fire?
yeah, before you go any further, before somebody listens to think, man, burn my cousin. Just so you know, none of that happened. Burning down.
I don't know. That was what was in my head.
At that
I
time,
remember that.
She was actually suffering from a disease called Cushing's. And we're going to tell you about that in a little while. All right, yes.
And then I remembered that I was in an ambulance. And my cousin said to me, everything is going to be okay. And her husband said to tell me that the kids are fine and we are going to be okay. I remember when I went to the hospital and I saw the sign, I said to them, I know this hospital because this is where I had my kids. And they said, okay. So they're saying, oh, she remembers stuff. Right. And I remember when I was in the hospital, each time I get up off that bed, I heard a noise going off. And I'm saying, what is happening? And there's always different people sitting, like 12 hours for the day. People be sitting there watching me. And I'm saying to myself, why are all these people watching me?
Well, so before you go any further, let us help our listeners to understand what happened during the time that you don't remember. Or
right.
That you can't remember what happened.
I don't remember what happened.
So what actually happened for our listeners, and if you're joining us on Facebook, welcome. If you're joining us via Instagram or YouTube, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We're actually discussing our book, Beautifully Scarred. If you have not gotten your copy as yet, still have time to grab a copy on Amazon.com and also Barnes and Noble. We also have a lot of copies here that we can mail out to you if you so wish. All right. Now, what happened during that time frame after the church and all of that? My daughter, because I asked my daughter to recap to me what happened.
She was only
and
4
I really
years
wanted her to actually come and talk to you on that part, but she said she's sad. So I should do that for her. And I also consulted with her cousin at the time because I wanted to see if the two stories, were corroborated. So what my daughter told me was, the house they were staying, there's a little balcony at the back. So
that wasn't a little balcony.
Well, you don't want to make it sound, you don't want them to think you're a superwoman because you fly over that thing like a superwoman.
It is tall.
Yeah, it's tall.
Because when you look over, because I normally go there and sometimes I go there to catch fresh air.
She's a superwoman,
So I went out there sometimes. I go out there sometimes and just stand and look over.
All right. So the balcony is tall. She said it's tall. It is tall.
It is tall.
It is tall. And what she did was she was sitting down with the two kids. And all of a sudden, Amoye says, and Nicoy, what he could remember at that time, no toddlers. And all of a sudden, they said their mother leaped and ran right over the balcony, jumped over the balcony, fell on her two legs, rolled in the grass, got up and started running.
But I had no broken bones.
No broken bones.
But how could that be?
And your cousin says that's what you did.
But how could that be?
And your daughter says that's what you did. Your son says that's what you did. All right?
Oh, my.
Yes. They said you leaped. As a matter of fact, Amoye, one of the scary parts of that story was Amoye says you actually tried to hold both of them to run
and jump
with you.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. And
I don't remember that part, though.
When I got to the hospital, the doctors also told me that. And that was why they actually thought you were suicidal at that point.
But I wouldn't kill myself.
Neither know that because, again, listeners, she was suffering from something called Cushing's, but that was not yet discovered. All right, it was not yet diagnosed. All right, so we're actually getting into the story. So when the ambulance, as a matter of fact, the fire truck came first because those
But they
guys
said I was running.
Yeah, those guys had to run you down. They ran after you and catch you. So they had to corner you. Listen, man, you said both
So I guess that was a siren that I heard in my head.
And you were running. Yeah,
I thought it was the police.
Right, it was the fire. It was the fire truck.
Okay.
Right, there was no police who came on scene at any point. It was the fire truck because after you did that jump, your cousin called emergency services. And so usually, in America, the fire is the one that comes first.
Right.
So what happened, the fire came, but you were in the community, man. You were doing like 200 miles per hour, and those guys were after you. And by the time they caught you, ambulance, they thought you were, as I said earlier, they thought you were suicidal. And so what they did, they restrained you.
Right.
Yeah, they tied you down. And that's why you had 24-hour supervision. Now, that was a Sunday. Now, when I was called from Jamaica to say what was happening, and I was so shocked. I'd just done preaching, and I got the phone call. And when I responded, and the doctor came on the line, and he was trying to tell me what was going on, and it was so scary, and I started to weep. I started to cry. I had no money to come, and all he was saying to me, you need to come now. You need to come now. No money. But eventually God provided, and I was able to come. When I got to the airport, I left from Atlanta airport directly to the hospital. So when I came to the hospital, my suitcase was in the car downstairs. I came directly to you. When I got to the hospital, you were chained to the bed. I was shocked. I was shocked.
Because they said I would run away.
That's why they tied you down, because they were scared that you were going to run away from the hospital. So I saw you tied down, and to be honest, I got furious. Just to see my wife, I know you left Jamaica well. You left Jamaica doing good.
Well,
and now I'm here.
Not well, but
I mean, when I say well, I didn't know if you've been sick.
Right.
Other than what the doctor was telling you that, you had high blood pressure, you had diabetes, but that should not amount for you being tied down.
Right.
So I was shocked. Now, when I got there and I called you, I said, Nicole, what happened? You looked up at me and you said nothing. The doctors came in after a while and asked, do you recognize this man? Looked at me and you said, I don't know. At that moment, I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
I knew something was wrong. You said, no, I don't recognize him. Then they proceeded to ask you about your children. You took a long while to remember that you had kids. To remember that you had kids.
I don't remember that.
And then it's just like a switch. Just switch in your head. And then you say, hold on. So that's my husband. I have 2 kids. And then all of a sudden, pop, it's like a switch came on again. And you nothing again. And I was like, oh my God. What is
I remember
on?
At one point you even said to me, I don't know if it was the same day or what it was, but I know you said to me, listen, the doctors think that you're going crazy. And what could have caused? And I'm saying, I don't know what happened. I don't know. And you're saying to me, yeah, but they think you're crazy. Stop acting like you're crazy. And I'm saying, I'm not acting like I'm crazy.
And I'm saying, you are acting like you're crazy.
And I said, I'm not acting crazy.
The doctors were asking, how long have you known Nicole? And I'm like, I've known her for so long. We've been married for so long. I've known her from high school. and they kept saying, as a matter of fact, the doctors thought I was lying.
Right.
When they kept asking me, can you tell us of all the mental illness or issues that she has?
But I know I had no.
And I'm telling them, she has no mental issues. I don't know of a mental issue. And they kept pressing me. And man, I was about to flip.
But I don't even, I'm not even sure what day, I don't know the days. But I knew that at one point I found myself on the mental ward.
We're going to talk about that. So while you were on, and before you get to the mental ward, because you actually died before you got to the mental ward. So we want to...
No, I don't know.
It was after. Okay, so let's take the mental ward situation. Right. So what happened is, the doctors wouldn't believe me. They did not believe me.
And I remember the doctor name. You know, sometimes I hear that doctor's voice in my head.
I remember it very clearly. I remember how he looked.
Yes, if I see him right now.
And I'm going to tell you what I actually told that doctor in my anger. Yeah, it's the first I'm going to say this, listeners, and I'm going to tell you what I told the doctor in my anger.
Well, I remembered that one.
You don't need to call it in.
No. Mm-hmm. I think I was on the mental ward for maybe 4 days.
Wait, before you get to that point,
5 days.
The doctors did not believe what I was saying. So you were on a medical ward.
Right.
Before. As a matter of fact, they were moving you from room to room to room to room.
But why were they moving me?
Because it's like every room they put you in, every room they put you in. Listen, there is not one machine in that hospital that you have not been on.
Well, in the first hospital, I remember I went on one machine and I was giving them information about me. I think I was doing was it a MRI? Yes, because they put me in that thing for like 45 minutes. I think it was an MRI I was doing on the liver because they saw where I had that liver issue. Because I went to that hospital before, so they saw that, and they even saw some other stuff. So they were asking me about it while I was in the machine, and I was telling them, and they said, "Oh yeah, we know, and whatever." But then I remembered after that the sugar was so high that I had to get insulin for, I think it was every 2 hours. They had to give me insulin because the sugar would be so high, not eating.
The machine you were on in the hospital was a CT.
It was a CT?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the MRI machine?
That was a CT. Yes, you've been on all those machines that you don't even remember which machine.
I don't.
As I said before, there's not one machine in that hospital that you have not been on.
No, in the first one?
Both of them.
Both of them?
And the second one.
Oh my God.
But I know we're going to be wrapping up part one, listener, and I know you want to hear what I told the doctor. You got to stay part two. I'm told by my technical directors, they've been communicating with me as we go along. That discussion is so riveting. They are saying they are monitoring everything that's going on and them about. I don't know. So the discussion is so riveting that they want us to do a part two before we even go any further. And I'm going to be following the instruction because I don't want my team to cut my head off later on. But before we go, yes, she was admitted to a mental ward. The doctors didn't believe me that there was nothing wrong with her. And so they decided to move her from the medical ward to the mental ward. And that's where I went rogue. You got to stay tuned for part two. We will be back.
Right back.
Me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God can do then justify, can no hide one do for you. Say me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God can do then justify, can no hide one do for you. Me not talk about money. Me not talk about fame. Me talk about blessings in a Jesus name. Preach the gospel and I hype you something. Living for God, this a righteous something. On the stage and no hype up something. Rebuke darkness, we are the lighter. Holy Spirit a shine it brighter. In a fast and fire overnight. Tell every weapon we farm, say God and me fighter. Me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God been good, then testify. And a high wine do for you. Say, me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God been good, then testify. And a high wine do for you. Me cup full already and I run over. With the essence of God, what a sweet aroma. Praise the up for me, I go louder. Shabbat the king, me give my daughter. Got a peace in my spirit and a joy in my soul. Make me surrender to Jesus and say take control. When you think about Calvary, how we pay that toll. I'm not ashamed of the gospel, so me preach it bold. Me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God did good, then testify. And no hype and do for you. Say, me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God did good, then testify. And no hype and do for you. Me not talk about money. Me not talk about fame. Me talk about blessings in a Jesus name. Me not talk about big house, no blings or chains. Me talk about healing in Jesus' name. This and a normal something, this a Bible something. Preach the gospel and a hype something. Living for God, this a righteous something. On the stage and no hype up something. Rebuke darkness, we are the lighter. Holy Spirit a shine it brighter. In a fast and fire overnight. Tell every weapon we farm, say God and me fighter. Me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God been good, then testify. And a high wine do for you. Say, me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God been good, then testify. And a high wine do for you. Me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God been good, then testify. And a high wine do for you. Say, me bless and them fi know. Me bless and them fi know. If God been good, then testify. And a high wine do for you. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. So me preach it bold.
Yes, indeed. Me bless and them for no. That was one from Dr. KJ. Tell you what, I'm going to follow instructions, right? So my technical director, just informed us that part 2 actually next week Saturday. All right, so you got to come back next week Saturday
to hear
how rogued I went. And next week we're going to get into the other aspect of it when she actually died and came back to life and what happened in the spiritual realm at that point. You will hear directly from Nicole what happened. Only she can tell you like it is, because she was there in the actual experience. So thank you so much. Do remember to grab your book on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. And until next week, same place, same time, we will be coming live with part 2. Take care. God bless you.
Peace out.
We may endure until 59, but a minute after that I will be fine. Yo, KJ!
Let me tell you this. Child coming out the morning. Child coming out the morning. Child coming out the morning. After one whole night of balling. Child coming out the morning. Child coming out the morning. Child coming out the morning. After one whole night of balling. I could not sleep last night. Situations had me up.
No way at all.
And when I tried to pray, even doing that was rough. Me know me Bible from back to front. Holy Ghost feel like speaking tongues. Yet my back was up against the wall. And Jesus name call. And him tell me say, child coming out the morning.
crack. Water more than flour and no food no in a pack. Watch them say better days are come. It look like it figure. They on me knees a pray so long me left to hole in a the mat. Hungry say pick up the night. Mama said church 10 o'clock. She said knock and it will open but we nah no door for knock. She said time of the master. All when you know got no watch just make we fast and pray until at 12 o'clock. And you will see say joy come in a the morning.